Chapter 1, Section 4, we look at pairs of angles. First of all, if angles are adjacent, they share a side. So this is the first angle, ABC. It is adjacent or right next to angle CBD. And the size of these doesn't matter. If you take the first one plus the second one, it equals the whole big angle. Linear pair kind of defines itself. It's a pair of angles that make a line. So we have two angles that form a line. So we could say angle DAC plus angle CAB add to 180 degrees. Complementary angles are two angles that add up to 90. So 58 plus 32 equals 90. And they don't necessarily have to be 58 and 32. It's any two angles that add up to 90 degrees. Supplementary are two angles that add up to 180. So this one here is 8 and this is 9. So we could say angle 8 plus angle 9 equals 180 degrees. Vertical angles, I think this is a new definition for you guys. Vertical angles are angles that are across from each other. So 1 and 2. And we have this vertical angle theorem that we're going to use a lot in here. And that says all vertical angles are congruent. So up here we would say angle 1 is congruent to angle 2. And we start out here, we need to say whether they are adjacent, whether they share a side, adjacent and form a linear pair, or not adjacent. AEB and BED, so those are adjacent and form a linear pair. AEB is the first angle, BED is the second, and when you put them together, they make this linear pair. Angle AEB and BEC, they are adjacent. They do not share, or they do not make a linear pair. And lastly, DEC, AEB, there's this whole gap in between, so they are not adjacent. 5 and 6 right here are adjacent and a linear pair. 7 and 5, they're right next to each other, and that's called adjacent. And 7 and 8, those are not adjacent. Letter G, 5 and 4, they share the side, so they are adjacent. 1 and 4, there's this gap in between them, so they are not adjacent. And then 2 and 3, they are adjacent and form a linear pair. Example 2, just a reminder if you want to write it up here, complementary means 90, supplementary means 180. So finding the complement of this, 90 minus 59 is 31 degrees. Supplement of this one, 180 minus 116.5 is 63.5. So pretty straightforward, subtracting from 90 or subtracting from 180. The next 6 questions, you're not going to have just a number for your answer. It's going to be an expression. To find the complement of this, you would do 90 minus 7x plus 10. You need to subtract that entire quantity. So you need to distribute 90 minus 7x minus 10. 90 minus 10 is 80. And that's going to be our answer right there, 80 minus 7x. Letter D, we want the supplement, so we will have 180 minus 7x minus 12. And as you distribute, that becomes 180 minus 7x plus 12. 180 plus 12 is a 192 minus 7x. And your answer is going to be an expression. It's not going to be one nice number. Letter E, the complement of E, you will have 90 minus 7x minus 12. Distributing here, that becomes 90 minus 7x plus 12. 90 plus 12 is 102 minus 7x. Letter F, the supplement of G, will become 180 minus 7x plus 10. So that becomes 180 minus 7x minus 10, which becomes 170 minus 7x. The complement means we're adding to 90, and we need to subtract that whole quantity. So that becomes 90 plus 6x plus 2, or 92 plus 6x. And letter H, the supplement, 180 minus 3x plus 6. We're going to distribute. So that becomes 180 minus 3x minus 6, or 174 minus 3x. Example 3, we have to write out some equations and solve them. And we are going to have to find an angle, which we're going to call x. And we're also going to have to find a complement, which is 90 minus x. And I'm going to take this English sentence and I'm going to translate it into a mathematical sentence using x for the angle and this for the complement. So an angle becomes x equals 10 more than is 10 plus 3 times the complement. The complement is 90 minus x. So we just translated that. An angle is x equals 10 more than is 10 plus 3 times the complement. Now distributing here, you will have x equals 10 plus 270 minus 3x. I'm going to add 3x to both sides, and that becomes 4x. Over here I'm going to add those two things together and get 280. 280 divided by 4 is 70. So what the angle is 70, and then 90 minus 70 is 20. So our angles are 70 and 20. And usually the first one is the worst, so if that one made no sense, we have a couple more to do. The angle is going to be x. This time we're looking at the supplement. which is 180 minus x. And this says an angle's measure is, so x is 12 more than is 12 plus half the measure of its supplement, which is 180 minus x. Distributing, you will have x equals 12 plus 90 minus 0.5x. Change that 1/2 to a decimal. Add 0.5x to both sides, and you have 1.5x equals 102. And if you divide both sides, your angle is 68, and then the complement will be 180 minus 68, which is 112. How about supplement rather than complement? So we started out, an angle is, x is 12 more than, 12 plus 1/2 the supplement. Example C, an angle is, and we're looking at complement here, so the angle is x, complement is 90 minus x. Angle is 20 more than, so 20 plus 4 times the complement, which is 90 minus x. Simplifying that, 4 times 90 is 360, and then you have a minus 4x. Adding 4x to both sides, you have 5x equals 380, and when you divide both sides by x, you get 76. So the angle is 76, and 90 minus 76 would be 14. Letter D, our angle is going to be x. Our supplement is 180 minus x. An angle is, so x is 30 more than 5 times the supplement. So that becomes 30 plus 900 minus 5x. Seems really huge, doesn't it? Adding 5x to both sides, you have 6x equals 930. And when you divide both sides by 6, x equals 155, and 180 minus 155 is 25. Example 4, we are asked to find some angles. They tell us that these two things are complementary. That means they add to 90. So we have 5x plus 8 plus 3x equals 90, which becomes 8x plus 8 equals 90. And when we subtract 8 from both sides, 8x equals 82, and x equals 10.25. So we need to do 5 times 10.25 plus 8. So one angle is 59.25. And then 3 times 10.25 is 30.75. Example B, these are supplementary. So you have 6x plus 16 plus 8x minus 4 equals 180. 6x plus 8x is 14x. 16 minus 4 is 12. And if you subtract 12 from both sides, you have 14x equals 168. Dividing both sides by 14, x equals 12. And we still need to figure out the angles. 6 times 12 is 72, plus 16 is 88. 8 times 12 minus 4 is 92. The second, example 4, we need to name all pairs of vertical angles. So angle HML and angle JMK. And then we have the second pair, angle HMJ, making that an H, and angle KML. Example B, you will have angle EDG and angle FDH. And then our second set, angle FDE and angle GDH. So these two right here are vertical, these two right here are vertical. And find the measure of angle 1 in these pictures. These are vertical angles, so they are congruent. 5x minus 13 equals 3x plus 10. Subtracting 3x from both sides, you have x minus 13 equals 10. And adding 13 to both sides, x equals 23. And we are trying to find example 1, or angle 1. So 3 times 23 plus 10, that angle 1 equals 79 degrees. Angle B, or example B, is just like that. 7x minus 10 equals 3x plus 14. Vertical angles are congruent. Subtracting 3x from both sides, you have 4x minus 10 equals 14. Adding 10 to both sides, 4x equals 24. So x equals 6. What we're going to have to do in this case, 3 times 6 plus 14. This angle right here is 32 degrees. That's not the angle we wanted. We wanted this one. So we need to do 180 minus 32, which is 148. Angle 1 and this angle will both equal 148 degrees. These two form a linear pair, which means they add to 180. And that leads us into example C and D. This is a linear pair. So we will have 4x plus 38, well 5x plus 38, plus 4x minus 2 equals 180. That becomes 9x plus 36 equals 180. Subtracting 36 from both sides, you have 9x equals 144. And when you divide both sides by 9, x equals 16. All that work, it's all right, but that's not our final answer. To find angle 1, you do 4 times 16 minus 2, and angle 1 is 62 degrees. And letter D, these two form a linear pair. So 6x plus 50 plus 4x plus 20 equals 180. That becomes 10x plus 70 equals 180. Subtract 70 from both sides. You have 10x equals 110. So x equals 11. And we're trying to find angle 1, which will be the same as this angle across from it, this vertical angle. So 6 times 11 plus 50 is 116. So angle 1 is 116 degrees.